And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here, and welcome to our Day of Appreciation, Gratitude for Caregivers of Crime Victims. This is a time to recognize the caregivers in law enforcement, the criminal justice system, and elsewhere, whose mission is to help victims and their families cope and rebuild their lives. Several of our leaders are here today to salute your work. First, please rise for the presentation of colors by the MNPD Drill and Ceremony Team, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the singing of our national anthem by Sergeant Robert Cruteau. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And please remain standing for the invocation. We welcome Marcia Brown, a member of the police department's chaplain team that provides emotional care to family members grieving the loss of a loved one.
Well, I would like to first say thank you. From me personally, I am very grateful for what each and every one of you do. We could not get through this thing called life without you. And if you would, let's pray. We stand here, precious and loving God, surrounded by those who give tirelessly and selflessly to others. When we think about what it means to be a servant, we find meanings such as putting others' needs before their own, to serve with the right heart, and to love those they serve. You love, you pray, you worry, you fight for, and are strong for all of those you serve. You are humble, you listen, you trust, and you care. How can a world exist without servants? It can't. Your heart of service sustains many. God, as these servants sometimes feel depleted, restore their strength. It is not a job for them, but it is a calling that you have placed in their hearts. You have empowered them to help the world. Yes, the world. As one person is helped, the ripple effect touches the ends of the earth. Their service may often go unrecognized, but they don't serve for recognition. It's about fulfilling what is in their hearts, finding justice, to help wounded hearts, to help bring healing. I hope today that you feel seen, heard, and appreciated. We say thank you. Thank you for answering the call and for doing it well and with love and compassion. God bless each servant here. Let them know that their hard work is not in vain. May they see their success in each face they serve. Amen.
Thank you, and please be seated. Now it's my privilege to introduce Mayor Freddie O'Connell. From his swearing in of 57 new police officers from 4 classes in his first 6 months in office, to supporting our men and women on the streets, to advocating for our victim intervention and counseling programs, Mayor O'Connell is a true partner of our police department as we work to enhance public safety across Nashville. Please welcome Mayor Freddie O'Connell.
Don, thank you, and I think thank you too for the police department recognizing the importance of this event as we celebrate together first and second responders. So it is great to see this building, this room full. Chief Drake and the department, Director Chief Swan, the Nashville Fire Department, General Funk from the DA's office, and Diane Lance from our Office of Family Safety. You're going to get to hear from these incredible leaders, but thank you all for being here together. A few weeks ago, many of us here joined Diane and her team to celebrate the 5-year anniversary of our incredible Family Safety Center. In those 5 years, this center has become a national model, with cities across the country coming to Nashville to replicate not the building, but the work that happens inside. And some of that is thoughtful use of space, but it's the incredible care and commitment of people that understand the importance of the work. You're also going to hear from Zach Chorizo, a Nashville native who needed victim advocacy services and now provides them for his peers. I can't wait to hear more of that story in our keynote this morning, so thank you for that. I will say one of the hardest things to reflect on in the aftermath of the tragic Covenant shooting, whose anniversary we just celebrated last week, was that Metro needs our second responders deeply, helping people navigate tragic events in the weeks and months after they happen. It has been so good to see us build additional capacity to create and distribute resources for families and communities who are suffering. We have been reminded several times since Covenant of this importance. The December 9th tornadoes, which were not just damaging but deadly. The sad disappearance and then discovery of Riley Strain, and most recently the Easter Sunday shooting at Roasted, which is a beautiful community gathering spot just blocks from my house. And I am incredibly grateful for the work of the first responders in each of those situations. We have responded to tragedy with our police resolving these incidents quickly and decisively, with our fire department and Office of Emergency Management ensuring that resources got distributed quickly. But we also know that law enforcement, emergency communications, and response can't and shouldn't be at the end of the response. Once the crisis is over, we have to turn to growth again. We need smooth transitions to experts on mental health, grief, and trauma. This is what our second responders do, and it is what so many of you all in this room are experts in. It's also what our family Family Safety Center provides crisis intervention, case management, therapy, heightened assistance for victims at the highest risk of being killed or seriously injured. More recently, our FSC practitioners have been collaborating with MNPD's Family Intervention Program to learn how to respond to the emotional safety needs in the aftermath of a disaster or instance of mass violence. Our FIP counselors have been such a bright spot for victims. And that is our first and second responders working together, moving people from crisis to opportunity, which is so important in this city. We have to have people not only willing to put their lives on the line in the moments of greatest intensity, but also to share their lives and lived experience with one another in what happens next. And this event helps shine a light on what happens next. We celebrate the people who pick up pieces and help victims toward healing and opportunity. And here in Nashville, it is a large group of people, teams that include specialized domestic violence judges, prosecutors, and victim witness coordinators. We've created a counseling division within the police department for survivors of homicide, rape, and severe abuse. It remains one of the few police divisions of its kind in the country. We've created the first court-based family justice center in the country, the Gene Crow Advocacy Center, and we've created the first intergovernmental department focused on victims of interpersonal violence, the Office of Family Safety. I want you all to know that I strongly support these initiatives and this work. And as we've been sitting here this morning, thinking through the many partners it takes to make this work as well, our nonprofit entities and providers, because we can't do this without them. Those that provide shelter and transitional housing to domestic violence victims, those that provide exams and therapy to victims of sexual assault, those that provide heightened medical attention to victims of strangulation, those that provide pathways to safety for victims of human trafficking, those that provide therapy to victims who have experienced chronic trauma, those that help raise the voices of victims targeted because they are children, elderly, physically or mentally vulnerable, those that work hard to reduce the barriers to services such as language, ethnicity, and historically rooted fears. So many of you in this room have decided to make this your life work. We know it is difficult work, but we also know it's incredibly rewarding when that work leads to opportunities for the ones you serve, oftentimes going through their most difficult moments. So I am grateful for each of you. I stand here in support of this work. Thank you for helping the most vulnerable among us, for giving them the gifts of hope and recovery, and for keeping all of us safe. It's an honor to be with you today.
So how about another selection from the Music City Strings? Thank you all again so much for being with us this morning. Chief John Drake is a Nashville native who just last month celebrated his 36th anniversary with this police department. It was Chief Drake who had the idea for a ceremony like this, which reflects his true concern for persons impacted by crime and those who work to help them. Chief John Drake.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. It's such an honor to have our third annual ceremony. Time has gone so quickly for recognizing those who are caregivers for victims. It's also fitting that this is done in the month of April, a month where we recognize crime victims and also victims of child abuse and child abuse awareness. I want to say thank you to our 10th mayor, Mayor O'Connell, who they say this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, but he is sprinting the marathon. I tell you, y'all, I can text him in the morning, I can text him in the evening and late at night, and I can get a response. I can even talk to him on weekends. He is always responsive, and I want to say thank you for that, and thank you for being here and your encouraging words. And to Diane Lance at the Office of Family Safety, who just celebrated her 5th year, or that agency's 5th year, the Office of Family Safety, and all the great work that they're doing, but also being a great friend, someone who has gone through personal tragedy as well as I have, and occasionally on a Sunday or any day, I'll get a text message of an inspirational message that has gotten her through the day, but also gets me through the day. So thank you for going above and beyond what you do. And to District Attorney General Funk, thank you for your friendship. You came to me when I first started with an idea of centralizing the homicide unit to be able to hold suspects accountable, but also to help victims. And the work has been tremendous in the almost 4 years that I've been chief in our partnership together. I look forward to one day actually getting on the golf course with you, because I hear you may be good, but until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. So. And to my brother, to Chief Swan, we're in the fire together on so many different things, but I call him my brother because we talk offline about different things, not even work sometimes. Sometimes we'll have a phone call with each other. It could be a Sunday, a Monday, or whatever day it is. And it could be 30 seconds. It could be 5 minutes. And the conversation could go, how are you, brother? I'm good. Hey, brother, how are you? He say he's good. And we're done. 20, 30 seconds, or sometimes it lasts longer. But until you've kind of been in our shoes, you don't understand how important that brotherhood and that friendship is, even when things are calm and going well. And I want to say thank you from my heart for being my brother. You're not my identical twin, but I love you just the same. So, and I want to give a special thanks to Tina Fox. I know she doesn't want it, but I have to. Since being appointed as chief, I've received a message every morning, a text message, and it's a spiritual and uplifting message to get me through the day. And I got one this morning, and I said thank you and amen, and she said she would be here. And I just want to say thank you, even on Sunday, for sending those messages. And to all of you all, and I can't mention everyone, but thank you all for what you do as well. And to our special guest, Zach Terezio, for joining us here at the Bridge Building. You know, this is a great city and it's a great country and there's a lot of great things going on, but sometimes we have dark and unimaginable things that occur. And a lot of times our men and women and people that are in the public spotlight get all the attention, but there's a lot of people who don't, and you are those persons who people don't know all the great things that you do. And I'm humbled knowing that this audience is made up of the unsung heroes in our criminal justice system. You are the persons who are helping crime victims and their families through unthinkable trauma and continue to be there for them months and years after the crime. You are the persons counseling children who have been subjected to sexual abuse and those exposed to trauma. Like at the Covenant School last year, you are helping those victims understand that there really are adults who care about their safety, their protection, and their well-being. You are the persons on a Sunday, a day that we reflect back on the challenges that we had during the week and the challenges of the week upcoming and a time that we should spend with our families. But you are the persons who took Sundays to be with victims of the Covenant School just to help them through that time and be away from your family. And it's just countless other times that you do that as well. You are the persons who counsel with the victims of domestic violence. And I say violence. It is a crime. You are helping to show them ways out of abusive relationships and that love should not physically nor mentally hurt. In planning for this annual Day of Appreciation, I told my team I just wanted to pause and make this event about each of you. So could you please all give yourselves a round of applause? I'm in awe of the work being done by advocates and counselors throughout the system, especially those in the police department and those in FIP who oftentimes continue the great work that they do while also in the back of their minds worrying about grants that could end for them. I can tell you this, and I see you nodding your heads, and I have a great relationship with the mayor, and he supports you as well as I do, and Diane Lance. You don't have to worry about your job if those grants end. You will continue working with us and doing the great work that you're doing for our police department, for our city, and for our victims of crime. We will always stand with you, and we appreciate the work that you're doing. Yours is a special calling to help those in need through horrible times. Your passion for this work is amazing and inspiring. You are making a difference in people's lives. Our police department is grounded in 3 core pillars: organizational excellence, being excellent as an organization, providing an experience for whoever needs us. And what better group to think about after the crime or after that incident has occurred, what happens next? The experience that is provided for people is just, it's unwavering support that I hear from people about all the good things that you do. Community engagement, how we get to know people and people get to know us, but also how we foster those relationships and make communities better. And precision policing. It's making Nashville safer, and it's making us better, and it's making us move forward in a safe and a great manner. I want to thank you all for being here, and I'm deeply grateful from the bottom of my heart for all the great work that you do, for all the passion that you show, for all the love that you have. And I want to give a personal thanks, and this is not written, personal thanks, because 2023 was not a kind year. 2023 was a very tough year for all of us. Through incidents that we know about, through incidents at Covenant School, and also through personal tragedy. I had people, the unwavering support that reached out to me when you didn't have to. You didn't have to. And it just shows the caring and the heart that you have. And so to all of you all, I want to say thank you again, and I'm truly grateful. Thank you.
Nashville Fire Department Director Chief Will Swan was appointed chief in 2018, is a 28-year veteran of Nashville Fire, and leads a team of 1,200 first responders. They are the caregivers who victims see joining with police officers on the scenes of the most tragic events. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Will Swan.
I don't know if he was giving me a hand up or indication. But first, let me just say what an honor it is to be here. And just like the mayor and Chief Drake, and I'm sure others that will come up here, will emphasize the importance of relationships. Everything is based off of relationships. And as responders, we deal with everything from the most hideous crimes that you can think of. We deal with it and we see it firsthand. But what echoes to me is the importance that has been made already about our personal relationships with each individual that's in our pocket. It's important to have someone to be able to lean on in times of need. And that's what you guys do as caregivers. I will not get into a lot of the semantics of the personal experience, because all of us have a story to tell. All of us have stories. But as leaders, in what you and how you do your job, you still got a personal life. And you have things that happen in your personal life. And it's so important that you have someone that you can talk to and reach out to. And I'm very thankful for each and every one that's speaking here today. So thank you so much for that. But more importantly, I want to bring attention to today is I want to shine a light on the unsung heroes in our society. Healthcare workers who selfishly cares for individuals who have been battered by violent abuse. These dedicated professionals are frontline warriors in the battle against the physical and emotional scars left by such traumatic experiences. Day in and day out, you provide compassion, care, support, and healing to those who have suffered unimaginable pain and trauma. You are the pillar of strength and hope for those who have been broken by violent abuse. Your work goes beyond treating the physical injuries. You provide a safe space for survivors to heal, to rebuild their lives, and to find the courage to move forward. Your empathy, resilience, and unwavering commitment to your patients are nothing short than heroic. As we acknowledge the challenges and complexities of your work, let us also recognize and appreciate the profound impact you have on the lives of survivors. We not only want to honor, but also support those of you who stand as a beacon of compassion and healing in the face of darkness. To all of the healthcare workers who tirelessly care for the battered of domestic or any type of violent abuse, your dedication and compassion does not go unnoticed. You are the true companions and champions of humanity. And we are forever grateful for the invaluable work you do. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Our District Attorney General, Glenn Funk, was first elected in 2014 to lead the prosecution of cases in Nashville's criminal and general sessions courts. Many Nashvillians may not realize that a number of advocates are part of the District Attorney's office to help victims in the navigation of the legal process. Please welcome our District Attorney, Glenn Funk.
So about 10 years ago, I was in a conversation about domestic violence with the then head of the YWCA, Pat Shea. And I said to her something about the mission of our office being to protect victims. And she corrected me and she said, Glenn, your office doesn't protect victims, your office supports victims. Now that's a semantic difference that is very significant because victims of domestic violence, most of them are adults. Victims of armed robbery are mostly adults. Of of sexual assault, mostly adults, right? These are grown folks, and if we are protecting those victims, we are somehow saying to them that, you know what, you need someone to protect you like you are a child. But if we are supporting that victim, then we are helping them reclaim their dignity, their humanity, helping them go forward, having been able to reclaim their lives and have that self-assurance to go forward. It's very different, and I've never used that term since, because we always, our job is to support victims. We're lucky in our office to have 20 victim witness coordinators. Most of them are funded by city government, and those folks do a wonderful job supporting victims throughout the criminal court process and beyond. It's about 15 years ago when previous administration was working hard to get funding for our downtown library, and there were bumper stickers, some of you may remember, that a city with a great library is a great city. What I think makes a great city is having organizations that support people who are hurting, who are the victims of crime. Thanks, Tina. We see that in leadership. I really believe that one of the reasons why Freddie O'Connell was elected mayor by the people of Nashville is because we saw in him someone who cares about people and wants to help us be the best version of ourselves. Chief Drake is amazing. One of the things that should not be lost on us is the words that are on these screens, we care. And I have heard him so many times not say we care about Nashville or the police department cares about Nashville. He always phrases it, we care about the people of Nashville. And that's a semantic difference that is significant with how we approach the issues that we are challenged with. Diane Lance headed up a process of study with regards to victim services, and especially with domestic violence, but all victim services, that led our city to invest in the best family safety center in America. And now that she has this Office of Family Safety that she leads, that our city supports, it provides unparalleled services to victims of violent crime. And we are fortunate to have not only that institution of the Office of Family Safety, but Diane Lance leading it. And obviously Chief Swan is pretty much everybody's hero in town, because we do have a fantastic fire department, and the first responders that you lead are amazing. But what really makes Nashville great isn't the support just from our government institutions, the district attorney's office, the mayor's office, the police department, the Office of Family Safety, the fire department. What makes us great is that we as a community have so many people and so many organizations that are dedicated to reaching out and supporting people who are hurting, people who are the victims of crime. It's the people in this room and the organizations that are reflected by the people in this room, that are represented by the people in this room. Those organizations are truly what makes Nashville the greatest city in America. You are Nashville's greatest natural resource, and I thank you.
Diane Lance is the director of Nashville's Office of Family Safety and oversees operations of our city's Family Safety Center, which opened in March 2019 as the nation's largest and most comprehensive provider of services to victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and child abuse. Diane has worked for years to help victims, both in her current role and as a former prosecutor. Please welcome Diane Lance.
Well, Glenn and I have an ongoing feud over who has to follow the other at this event, and I lost this time. So, but thank you for asking me to come back and speak again. This is such a thoughtful event that all of us appreciate each year. And I really want to thank all the speakers that spoke. So many of you are such good friends on so many levels. And it's something I don't take for granted, and I deeply appreciate every day. For those that organize this event, this is a big thing to organize, and it gets better every year. And for everyone that does this really hard work. So I think a lot, there's some events that come every year that you're like, wow, a year has passed. And this is one of those. And I think really hard about what I want to say at this event and what's on my mind, what's rattling around in my brain about the work that we do. And it's a lot of pressure. I'm a little nervous as I stand up here because you are the peers I work with every day. You're the people that I care about while I'm at work and when I go home at the end of the day. And you're really the people I most admire. So anyway, this year, when I'm thinking about what I wanted to say, I couldn't get a book that I had read out of my mind. It's called I Have Some Questions for You, and it's by Rebecca McKay. Now, normally, when I read books, I like to escape the work that we do, but this is a book club book, and unfortunately, it was like right into the work we do. So the plot is a fictional murder of a high school girl whose case was reinvestigated decades later by some true crime podcasters. Anyone listen to true crime podcasts? I don't know how you do it when you're in this work, but so the book put a really harsh spotlight on some themes that are very specific to our work. The frequency of women that are murdered by men, the frequency of women in relationships with the men that murder them, and the national sensationalization of the men that murder women. And the author fleshed out these points not by using data and research like we normally see, but instead with kind of a literary tool of using conversations that just pop up throughout the book. And the conversations are between unknown characters that are struggling to identify which violent crime against a woman the other character's talking about, because there's just too many to keep it straight. And to understand what I mean, I'm going to read one of those, which one was it, conversations from the book. Wasn't it the one where she was stabbed? No. Was it the one where she got in the cab with? Different girl. The one where she went to the frat party? Or was it the one where she was at the pool party? Or was it the one where she picked him up from rehab and he, no. Okay, the one where he'd been watching her jog every day, or was it the one where she made the mistake of telling him her period was late? No. How about the one with the uncle? Was it that one? Or no, wait, the one with the other uncle. Midway through the book, of all these which one was it conversations, it shifts to what happened to the body. Was it the one where a body was never found? Or was it the one where a body was found in the snow? Oh, I know, it was the one where he left her body for dead under a tarp. Living in a state ranked in the top 10 for 20 out of the past 25 years for violence against women, we rank number 4 overall. I appreciate how the author just got to the bottom line, that if you can't keep the horrific facts of murdered and seriously injured women straight, then there are just obscenely too many. So at this point in writing these remarks last Sunday, my son walked in the door. He's in college, and it was Easter Day, and he asked me what I was doing on my computer. And I told him I was working on my remarks for this event, and that I'd come to a stopping point because I was really struggling with the transition from all those things I just read to you from the book to appreciating those that do this work. And it was one of those rare moments where your adult child is actually paying attention to what you say. And so I asked for his advice. And just like I did with you, I read through those quotes from the book, and then I added similarly phrased quotes from some Nashville cases. And when I was done reading, I looked up and I said, what do you think? And he goes, why did you do that? And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, why did you read each one? I mean, I didn't need to hear all of those things. And I mean, I was just astonished. I really wasn't quite sure I knew what he was talking about. And I said, okay, but got it. But how should I transition to appreciating the people that do this work? And he said, I think it's crazy. And I said, what's crazy? And he goes, it's crazy. And I said, what I'm saying or how I'm saying it? And he goes, no, crazy to listen to that all day. And I said, listen to my remarks? And I clearly was not cluing in. And he goes, no, listening to that type of stuff is crazy. And I go, why is it crazy? And he goes, because you end up taking it as yours, taking it home as yours. And I don't know who would ever do that. Who would do that? So I sort of cocked my head and I looked at my son, wondering if I needed to introduce myself to him. And he obviously caught on to the expression and he goes, okay, I know you do it, but it's still way too much. It's insane. Insane. And at this point, I'm wondering who raised this child. At the same time, he was probably wondering if I could just be a normal mom and have an Easter basket of candy ready for him when he came home, which I forgot to do. As frustrating as that conversation was, his, and I'm just gonna say it, moronic response was a perfect transition because he probably was right. Choosing to do this work every day is an insane choice, and we do take it home as our own each day. I prefer the words admirable, commendable, or much needed to insane, but think about it. This is a female-dominated profession and helping predominantly female victims or their surviving families. And as women, we are all raised to be fearful of, if not terrified, of the very thing we are supporting other women through. Then on top of that, we are living in a world where those fears are not just a daily reality for us, they are sensationalized all around us as entertainment. Imagine choosing that profession as a woman. Is it insane, like my son says, or is it heroic? And really, how different is insane from heroic? Either way, I applaud my sisters in this work and my brothers who we work alongside, the brothers that really get it, including those that spoke before me, and so many of you standing up in the back, and my friends in uniform. So to bring all this home, but don't get too excited, I'm not quite done, I'm going to read another set of The One Where He. But this time I'm not going to read it from a book, and instead I'm going to read it from my own notes of women that have been brutally attacked by their partners here in Nashville in just the last 3 months. Was it the one where he stalked her first, or the one where he shot her in the face? Maybe it was the one where he raped her 11 times, or was it the one with the machete? Oh, no, the one with the hatchet. Or was it the one where he just threatened to cut her up and put her in a suitcase? Could it be the one where he threw acid on her, or was it the one where he poured lighter fluid on her? And then some from just last year's domestic violence homicides, just last year. It may have been the one where he killed her and then stuffed her body in a closet, or possibly the one where he poisoned her and the unborn baby. Could it have been the one where the daughter heard him kill her, or the one where he killed her in front of her son? And finally, some where he was prohibited from possessing a gun, but he had one anyway. The one where he pressed a gun against her back, or the one where he pressed the gun to her head and strangled her? Or was it the one where he fired the gun at her while she was walking home, or the one that he shot the gun at her while she was driving with her baby in the car? Was it the one where he beat her face with the gun, or was it the one where he shot and killed her and then himself in a hotel room? Or the one where he shot her in the back of the head and dumped her body in a creek? Maybe you're thinking that this is overkill and that I've gone too far and that I made my point 5 minutes ago, but it's really not my repetition, in my opinion, that's overkill. It's the occurrence of this type of crime against women that is literally overkill. And I know this event is about appreciating everyone who does this really hard work that's here today, those that have decades of commitment to this work. And the best way I've learned over the years that I can show my appreciation for my friends is to do what I do best, and just be blunt and just say what I think needs to be said. And what really needs to be said is the brutality of women is not what is the most horrifying. What is the most horrifying is how common that brutality of women is. So on behalf of myself and my horrified son, thank you for doing this insane work. If you didn't do it, I really don't know who else would. Every day you are giving the true gift of hope and healing to those you serve. And each year that I get the honor to stand up here and speak, I am honestly more proud than the year before to do this insane work on this crazy, endlessly frustrating, yet deeply rewarding ride with each of you. Thank you.
Our keynote speaker this morning is Jack Chirizio, a Nashville native, small business owner, photography hobbyist, and animal lover. Zach initially came to seek Nashville's victim advocacy services following an extended experience with domestic violence. He later became a founding member of our family intervention program's men's support group. Zach looks forward to continuing to bring awareness to this side of domestic violence, and we are grateful that he could join us this morning to share his experiences. Please welcome Zach Chirizio.
Thank you, appreciate it. I didn't think to bring the cool notebook for my pages, so. And talking about who follows who, I did not realize we'd be following that line of heavy hitters. I respect all of you. Very happy to be here. My name is Zach Chirizio. I was born in Memphis, raised in Nashville. I want to thank you again for letting me be here with you today. As I stand here today, I cannot overstate the impact that the workers of the Family Safety Center and Family Intervention Program have had on my life and the lives of other male domestic violence survivors. Many I know personally. Through their dedication, compassion, expertise, they have provided me the lifeline through some of my darkest moments. I remember the first time I reached out and spoke to Hannah Roberts on the phone. It was a turning point that led me on a path towards healing and empowerment. Sorry, this is a whole new thing. Obviously, I would rather not be the expert on this topic, but here we are, and I'm happy to be talking with you guys. I figured I'd give it a second to sink in that I'm probably not the person you expect to give this talk. I wonder myself sometimes how I got here. You know, people hear about domestic violence victims. They often picture certain images in their heads. Well, let me tell you, I definitely didn't fit the stereotype. I mean, I'm a grown man who can bench press his own weight, but turns out I'm also really good at dodgeball with kitchen appliances. Growing up, I never imagined I'd be standing here talking about my experience as a male victim of domestic violence. I mean, I always thought I'd be the one rescuing the damsel in distress, not the other way around, but hey, such is life. Let me share a few stats. I grew up playing hockey, had a slap shot record in my hockey league. I played in hardcore bands, which is the music where people swing their arms and jump around. I entered a CrossFit competition with 3 months experience at a professional level. I did the St. Jude half marathon with no training. I'm a regular at a Muay Thai gym. And as I said earlier, I can bench press my own body weight, but I'm also a victim of domestic violence. All the jokes aside, I've personally learned over the past few years this may seem like a joke to some, but it's really not. It seems like that prior list seems like a list of a pretty regular guy, but this can happen to anyone. Proof of the insidiousness of domestic violence and trauma can be found in how I prepared for this speech. Right now I'm talking way faster than I planned to. Had a plan to read this perfectly and not slip up like I have. But you begin to second guess yourself. I'm sure myself, other male victims, any victim of domestic violence, you start to second guess and wonder, was it really that bad? Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Am I less of a man because I let this happen? It slowly sinks in. I know the truth, but that slowly sinks in even in preparation for an event like this. I'd like to share a couple facts about men's domestic violence, just to light on this one specific area. It's crucial to recognize that domestic violence affects people of all genders, and by shining a light on this issue, I hope we can work towards creating a safer environment for everyone. But today for my talk, I'd like to talk about 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. That includes a range of behaviors as slapping, shoving, pushing. Approximately 750,000 men reported domestic violence in 2020. This underscores the importance of organizations like the Family Intervention Program and the Family Safety Center and the need for continued education and awareness. This has since been fixed, but a while back, if you searched, why is my wife yelling at me? Or why is my girlfriend yelling at me? The first answer and pop up in Google was a list of things you could have done wrong. What did you do to provoke? What did you do to upset? If you then, at the next moment, searched, why is my husband yelling at me? The first pop up at the top is a 1-800 number. It says there is help. Since that time, that's been fixed. That now shows inequality, but at one point, that's how it was. There's a hard time finding facts. Things are underreported and obviously not taken seriously. Even when we created our men's group, there was no literature to go off of. There's only a study guide. There was a dissertation from a graduate student. We had to pave our own way. All of that to be said, I'm here today because of the Family Safety Center and the Family Intervention Program, and I want to talk about how they helped me. I wanted to originally break this up into 2 different parts, my story and then how Family Intervention helped me through, but I realized they're completely intertwined. I wouldn't be here standing on this stage without their help. I'd like to start with Shirley Simmons, was a DA Victims Advocate Coordinator. She first helped me when I had so many questions after my event that I couldn't get answers. She's the one who pointed me to the resources I had. Without her, I would have never found the Family Safety Center and the Family Intervention Program. I had heard police mention that I had help, and they did try to explain, but I never heard that outside of my specific incidents. I didn't know these opportunities were available. I took the chance and I made a call, and Hannah Roberts actually answered the phone. We scheduled my first session on my birthday, the year of my police incident. When I first arrived at the Family Safety Center, my first interaction with the Family Intervention Program, I felt safe, and I mean a feeling of safety, not because of the locked doors, not because of the security, not because of the metal detectors, but because of the people inside. From the very beginning when I met the security guards to everyone I walked with through the process, I felt safe the entire way. I will say one day one of the security guards said I looked handsome, and by God, I'm still riding that high today. I remember I spent my first few sessions going over details of the past 2 years and asking Hannah over and over, are you sure I'm not the bad guy? Are you sure I'm not crazy? For male victims, many times the first thought is, where did I go wrong, or what could I have done better? I remember being reassured over and over that I wasn't crazy, I wasn't wrong. During this time, as I started my sessions, my situation progressed. I came to the Family Safety Center after my partner at the time was arrested for domestic violence. My time with the center proceeded with my court process as well. My first court date, Hannah offered to go with me. That meant so much to me, but I was honestly afraid it might provoke the other party if I was seen with help, so I declined. I also felt this situation was open and shut. What could go wrong? I realized it could go very wrong when my first update while in the waiting area downstairs from the other party on my case was the other party calling and asking me if I was already out because she was already out and gloating about the deal that was made. Hannah offered me support after this as my mind was reeling and gave me safe to express that hurt. Thankfully, soon after this, we started our first men's group. I was happy to be able to attend and join a group of other men who had similar experiences. 3 other men were in the group with me with similar situations, but on different timelines. One had already moved past, one, myself, was presently in the middle, and one was just beginning their journey. We found solidarity, and we were given a safe space by the leaders to be unashamed and really pour out our hearts and feelings. I want to thank the Family Intervention Program personally, especially Hannah and Laura Beth, for taking it upon themselves to not wait for male advocates, to not wait for someone else. They saw a mess, they saw pain, and dove in and took a chance to try and reach out to those of us who needed it. As we progressed through our men's group and through therapy, continued therapy, I had my second court date. To myself, the unimaginable happened. My case was dismissed to a filing error. This was a very dark time for me, and I felt abandoned. I felt very lost. But Hannah, Laura Beth, and my men's group were my rock. I was able to come to the group and express my pain and hear someone say that it was wrong and that I was okay to feel this way. My case was eventually reopened by a new DA and a new judge. More had happened in between, more violations of bond conditions, and I was told things along the way of, if I had known this is all that would happen, I would have hit you harder. I tried to speak with new people on the case, but the information was listed wrong and I wasn't able to contact anyone. This time felt worse because at the end, my case was not only dismissed, but it was expunged. And not just that charge, another charge as well. I didn't think I could feel much worse, but looking into my case and not even seeing the dismissed sign had crushed me. The only proof and evidence I had were screenshots and police records on my phone. The Office of Family Safety, the Family Intervention Program, and my therapist and my group protected me. They helped me work through my feelings. They let me vent. They then advocated for me, made calls, sent emails until someone responded, and made sure I understood what was going on. If I can give one request that means the most to me on this matter, it would be please follow up with male victims the same. Please ask questions. Some people are afraid to report due to retaliation because we don't usually have the usual safety nets societally in any way. We're taking a gamble by saying anything at all because we're not as protected. After my second court day, I was able to continue my sessions, repairing my self-esteem, and help not just intellectualize my emotions, but feel them. Hannah took the time to work with me through advanced therapy sessions, or advanced therapy methods like EMDR that is used with war veterans to help with PTSD. It means eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. This was not just sessions about asking how my feelings or waiting for the clock or the alarm to ring and tell me to move on. Real time was spent, real care was given, and a real investment was made in me. As we worked through together, this led to a breakthrough, and I began to transition out of traditional therapy sessions, and I could not do this alone. I was presented quickly after with a chance to peer support the second men's group and give back to a new set of men who had found themselves in a situation. Getting to be a resource for them was incredibly healing for me, and I'm thankful for every man who stepped in that room with us because they saved me. A dry mouth catches up quickly. I offered up an opportunity to my fellow members of the original men's group to see if they would like to contribute any words today. Because we built this group together, we experienced this together, and I can firmly stand here and say this for all of us, how thankful we are. I'd like to read a few words. The first says, the Family Safety Center and Family Intervention Program has given me so much hope during the most challenging time in my life. When it felt like the legal system was failing me and the staff in that office were there for me with a human touch. I was taken seriously as a male victim of domestic violence. I was encouraged, I was empathized with, and the staff showed up for me. They sat with me in court. The DV detectives listened to my case and took action. The team created a space for me to process with others who had also experienced what I had, and we could be there for each other and encourage each other. The second says, this men's group helped me get on my own 2 feet after one of the most difficult times in my life. The friendships and common understanding between the fellow guys made me feel less alone in my hardships and offered a way forward for me to grow and become a better man than I was. I know I can speak for all three of us when I can say the deep impact that all of you, anyone who heard our stories, anyone who cared, what it means to us. I know we're hoping for a third round of group this summer. I'm excited to be able to participate again. I hope to bring awareness to male victims of domestic violence, but I also hope that by shining a light on this small corner, that it gives more attention, that more attention is given to domestic violence victims as a whole. Male, female, regardless of gender identity, the system has work to do for a domestic violence system, and I know Nashville as a whole, the Family Safety Center and the Family Intervention Program is leading the way. In a room full of mandatory reporters, I have edited this for context. I once thought about writing all this out, leaving all the evidence, all the recordings, going through what happened step by step, and then yelling very loudly until someone heard me. Because then someone would have to take a deeper look and would have to see what had happened. Now, after the care and love and compassion and group building I've been a part of and I've received, I can stand here with you today and I can say for myself that I know this happened. I can say that I know we can make a difference and ensure that every survivor has access to the resources and support they need to heal and thrive. I want to say thank you again to the incredible team, the Family Safety Center, the Office of Family Safety, and especially the Family Intervention Program for their unwavering commitment to supporting domestic violence victims and for being a beacon of hope for survivors like myself. And I really look forward to continuing this work together. I think I lost my way a few times along this speech. All best laid plans are there till the first punch is thrown, right? As soon as the game starts, everything changes. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to attempt to tell you guys about this. I'm thankful for everyone in this room. I'm thankful for everyone who listened. But I do want to give a very special thank you. To Hannah Roberts, to Laura Beth Harbin, to the leadership that let these women do what they did and continue to do, and the men of the first men's group and the men that participated in the second and any that will come after. I'm here today because of all of you, so thank you.
Mayor O'Connell, Chief Drake, Chief Swan, General Funk, Director Lance, Zach, thank you for the words of appreciation for the wonderful people in our audience today. This concludes our ceremony. Would you please stand once more for the benediction from Chaplain Marcia Brown. After the benediction, we hope you will stay for refreshments and fellowship. Chaplain Brown.
Let us pray. God, I lift up every person here as they head back into the forces of life. May they feel strengthened and empowered. May they know that they are showing your love when they serve. I ask that you accompany them on their journey and ease any fear or anxiety that they may experience. Surround them with strong arms to hold them up when they feel weary. Open their eyes to give them vision. Help them to see the tender eyes, the wounds of those before them. Help them to hear the unspoken needs of those voices who are muted. Proverbs 31:8-9 says, "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy." And this is what you do. Thank you. May God bless and keep you. Amen.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.